बिहारी जय गोपीजन बल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन बल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन बल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन बल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव जय सुभद्रा जय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Finally, thank you.
Narayanam Namaskritva Narayaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Udire Sunvatam
Swakata Krishna
Yastravana Kirtana Jayan
Hridayam Tasto Hi Apatrani Donoti
Donati
Surasatam
Ashtapam
Ashtapayeshu Apatreshu
Yam
Tyam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati
Bhagavati
Uttama
Uttama
Sloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naistati.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. It's like you are all unable to unmute.
I think
Prabhuji, it's a new feature from Zoom, so whoever is the host, he has to unmute.
No, actually,
the settings it might have changed.
I need to change the setting. I also heard from devotees, so I am. I know. I forgot actually. I have to change. Maybe I'll do it today.
Okay, Prabhu.
So we are discussing Catur Sloki Bhagavatam. So we completed 2 verses. Today we'll go third one, 2.9.35. Okay. Please repeat. Yata mahanti bhutani
Yata mahanti bhutani
bhute sucha vasesvanu
bhuteshu cha vacheshvano
pravishtanya pravishtani
pravishtanya pravishtani
tatha teshu nate swaham
tatateshu nateshvaham yata mahanti bhutani
yata mahanti bhutani
bhuteshu cha vacheshvano
bhute sucha vasesvanu
pratishtanya pratishtanya pravishtani
pravishtanya pravishtani
tatateshu nateshvaham
tatha teshu nate swaham
Yatha mahanti bhutani
yatha mahanti bhutani
bhuteshu chavacheshvano
bhuteshu cha vacheshvano
pravishtanya apravishtani
pravishtanya
pravishtani
pravishtani
tatha teshu nateshvaham.
tatha
tatateshu
teshu nate
nateshvaham
swaham
यथा महान्ति भूतानि
yatha
yata mahanti
mahanti
bhutani
bhutani
भूतेषु च वेश्चवनो
bhute
bhuteshu cha
vachesvanu
vacheshvano
प्रविष्टानि अप्रविष्टानि
pravishtanya
pravishtanya
pravishtani
pravishtani
तथा तेषु न तेष्वहम्
tatha
tatateshu
teshu nate swaham.
nateshvaham.
Okay. Synonyms. Yatha, just as.
Yatha, just as.
Mahanti, the universal.
Mahanti, the universal.
Bhutani, elements.
Bhutani, elements.
Bhutesu Ucha Avacheshu. In the minute and gigantic.
Bhuteshu Ucha Avacheshu, in the minute and gigantic.
Anu, after.
Anu, after.
Pravishtani, entered.
Pravishtani, entered.
Apravishtani, not entered.
Apravishtani, not entered.
Tatha, so.
Tatha, so.
Teshu, in them.
Teshu, in them.
Na, not.
No, not.
Teshu, in them.
Teshu, in them.
Aham, myself.
Aham, myself.
Translation and purport by Divine Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Brahma, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created, and at the same time I am outside of everything. Okay, purport. So yeah, this verse has also big purport. Maybe everyone can read one paragraph. Anyone would like to start?
I can read, Prabhu.
Yeah, good.
The great elements of material creation, namely earth, water, fire, air, and ether, all enter into the body of all manifested entities. The seas, mountains, aquatics, plants, reptiles, birds, beasts, human beings, demigods, and everyone materially manifested. And at the same time, such elements are differently situated. In the developed stage of consciousness, the human being can study both physiological and physical science, but the basic principles of such sciences are nothing but the material elements and nothing more. The body of the human being and the body of the mountain, as also the bodies of the demigods, including Brahma, are all the same ingredients: earth, water, etc. At the same time, the elements are beyond the body. The elements were created first, and therefore they entered into the bodily construction later. But in both circumstances, they entered the cosmos and also did not enter. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, by his different energies, namely the internal and external, is within everything in the manifested cosmos. And at the same time, he is outside of everything, situated in the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha Loka, as described before. This is very nicely stated in the Brahma Samhita as follows. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Prabha Vitabis Tabir Yo Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabhi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Akilatma Bhutho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the personality of Godhead Govinda, who by expansion of his internal potency of transcendental existence, knowledge and bliss, enjoys his own and expanded forms. Simultaneously, he enters into every atom of the creation. Do you want me to continue, Prabhu?
If you want, you can continue, or anyone would like to read, then maybe you can finish this part.
Okay, this expansion of its plenary parts is also more definitely explained in the same Brahma Samhita as follows. Ekopya asau rachayitam jagadanda kotim yad shaktirasti jagadanda chaya yad antaha andantarasta paramanu chayantarastam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the personality of Godhead Govinda, who by one of his plenary portions enters into the existence of every universe and every particle of the atoms, and thus unlimitedly manifests his infinite energy all over the material creation.
Go ahead, Mataji. You read.
Yes, Prabhuji. The impersonalists can imagine or even perceive that the Supreme Brahman is thus all-pervading, and therefore they conclude that there is no possibility of his personal form. Herein lies the mystery of his transcendental knowledge. This mystery is transcendental love of Godhead, and one who is surcharged with such transcendental love of Godhead can without difficulty see the personality of Godhead in every atom and every movable or immovable object. And at the same time, he can see the personality of Godhead in his own abode, Goloka, enjoying eternal pastimes with his eternal associates, who are also expansions of his transcendental existence. This vision is the real mystery of spiritual knowledge. As stated by the Lord in the beginning, Sahashyam Tadangam Cha. Sahashyam Tadangam Cha. This mystery is the most confidential part of the knowledge of the Supreme, and it is impossible for the mental speculators to discover by dint of intellectual gymnastics. The mystery can be revealed through the process recommended by Brahmaji in his Brahma Samhita 5.38 as follows. Premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shyama sundaram achintya gunasharupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the original personality of Godhead, Govinda, always observe within their hearts. This Govinda, the original personality of Godhead, is the Syam Sundar with all transcendental qualities. Therefore, shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Yeah, continue. This one.
Therefore, although he is present in every atom, the Supreme Personality of Godhead may not be visible to the dry speculators. Still, the mystery is unfolded before the eyes of the pure devotees, because their eyes are anointed with love of Godhead. And this love of Godhead can be attained only by the practice of transcendental loving service of the Lord and nothing else. The vision of devotees is not ordinary. It is purified by the process of devotional service. In other words, as the universal elements are both within and without, similarly, the Lord's name, form, quality, pastimes, entourage, etc., as they are described in the revealed scriptures, or as performed in the Vaikuntha Lokas, far, far beyond the material cosmic manifestation, are factually being televised in the heart of the devotee. The man with a poor fund of knowledge cannot understand, although by material science one can see things far away by means of television. Factually, the spiritually developed person is able to have the television of the kingdom of God always reflected within his heart. This is the mystery of knowledge of the personality of Godhead. Do you want me to read, Prabhuji?
Okay. Let's see if anyone would like to read next paragraph. If
Right,
not,
Prabhuji.
yeah, go on.
Okay. The Lord can award anyone and everyone liberation mukti from the bondage of material existence. Yet he rarely awards the privilege of love of Godhead as confirmed by Narada Muktim Dhatati Kachit Sma Na Bhakti Yogam. This transcendental devotion service of the Lord is so wonderful he that the occupation keeps the deserving devotee always wrapped in psychological activity, without deviation from the absolute touch. Thus, love of Godhead development in the heart of the devotees is a great mystery. Brahmaji previously told Narada that the desires of Brahmaji are never unfulfilled because he is always absorbed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, nor has any desire of his heart saves and except the transcendental service of the Lord. That is the beauty and mystery of the process of Bhakti Yoga. As the Lord's desire is infallible because he is Achyuta, similarly the desires of the devotee is transcendental service of the Lord, as also Achyuta infallible. This is very difficult, however, the layman to understand without knowledge of the mystery of a devotional service, as it is very difficult to know the potency of touchstone. As touchstone is rarely found and rarely found, a pure devotee of Lord is also rarely to be seen. Even amongst millions of liberated souls, Kotiswa Abhi Mahamune, out of all kinds of perfection attained by the process of knowledge, yoga perfection in devotional service is the highest of all the and most of all and the most mysterious also. Even more mysterious than the 8 kinds of mystic perfection attained by the process of yogic performances. In the Bhagavad Gita 18.64, the Lord therefore advised Arjuna to about this bhakti yoga. Sarva Guyatam Guya- Sarva Guyatamam Bhoya Shunu Me Paramam Vachaha. Just hear from me again about the most confidential parts of the instructions in Bhagavad Gita. The same was confirmed by Brahmaji to Narada as in the following words. Idam Bhagavata Idam Bhagavatam Nama Yadme Bhagavata Toditam Sangraho Yam Vibhutinam Tvam Etad Vipuli Kuru. Brahmaji said to Narada, whatever I have spoken to you about the Bhagavatam was explained to me by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And I'm advising you to expand these topics nicely so that people may easily understand the mysterious Bhakti Yoga by transcendental loving service to the Lord. It is also to be noted that here that the mysteries of Bhakti Yoga was disclosed to Brahmaji by the Lord himself. Brahmaji explained the same mystery to Narada. Narada explained it to Vyasa. Vyasa explained it to Sukadeva Goswami, and that same knowledge is coming down in the unalloyed chain of disciplic succession. If one is fortunate enough to have to receive the knowledge of the transcendental in the transcendental disciplic succession, surely he will have the chance to understand the mystery of the Lord and that of the Srimad Bhagavatam's the sound incarnation of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashyatade Satarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivashadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the third verse of Catur Sloki Bhagavatam, and out of all these 4 verses, this verse is very difficult to understand. Why? Because the statement, if you see, Lord says, Yatha Mahanti Bhutani Bhute Sucha Vaseswanu. Then he says, Pravishtani Apravishtani Tatha Tesu Na Teswaham. So he say that I exist everywhere, at the same time I do not exist. Right? So that's always we feel, and we discuss, this statement, Krishna told to Arjuna also in Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter, we discuss. So let's try to understand what is the context here and what we understand from this verse and how it is related to Brahmaji's question. So Brahma, in the previous verse we discussed, Lord answered Brahma's second question like, what are the different energies, right? We discussed Lord's energy. How are various spiritual and material energies working, right? So we discussed elaborately the Yogamaya and Mahamaya potency. So the Mahamaya is which separate us from Krishna, and Yogamaya which brings us from Krishna. So one thing, right, we need to understand, I'm talking about the relation to days only. Rested a few points. I just forgot to mention about Mahamaya, Yogamaya. There are few similarities between Yogamaya and Mahamaya, right? If you see that Mahamaya is the external energy, right? Mahamaya, that has also the bewilderment tendency. Mahamaya bewilders everyone, confuse everyone. Even Yogamaya has also that bewilderment tendency or potency. So what is difference then, right? If you understand little deep, Mahamaya, okay, has a two subdivision, or if you think about its potency, it has a two potency. One is bewilderment potency, and another is or avidya and vidya. Within the Mahamaya, we have avidya and vidya. So avidya means what does avidya potency does? It bewilders, and it covers the it's like a screen, so that we cannot approachable to Lord, and also it confuses, shows the allurement to more separate from Krishna. So that is the avidya potency of Mahamaya. And there is a vidya potency of Mahamaya also. I mean, sometimes it's we may think that, oh, Mahamaya, what is vidya? Vidya means knowledge. Vidya means ignorance, right? So even Mahamaya, there is a positive potency also there. So vidya means whichever the knowledge which brings closer to Krishna, that is called vidya. And whichever knowledge which separate from us Krishna, that's avidya, ignorance, right? But within the Mahamaya also, there is a vidya potency. So what does that vidya potency does? So first of all, for avidya, it's completely bewilderment, allurement. It's completely keeps us at a bodily platform, shows the allurement and sense gratification, everything. But vidya potency of Mahamaya, what it does, it makes us understand, makes us to understand about our soul, and makes us understand of the impersonal aspect of the Lord. So that is what, that means those who are interested towards gain or perform some kind of spiritual activity, or they are inclined to the spiritual path, but they're not into the pure stage, pure bhakti. Bhakti, we are not in the bhakti stage, but they're adapting some method to pursue the bhakti or pursue the God consciousness. For them, the Mahamaya has a vidya potency which help those to realize up to certain extent. So that's why we see that the Maya, the impersonalist, Mayavadi, they're what? They're unable to approach the Lord direct, because they're not into the path, but they're able to approach what you call impersonal aspect of the Lord. So for that, who is helping? Mahamaya is helping them. Mahamaya only acting through its his through her, what you call, vidya potency. So this is the one thing we need to know. Even Mahamaya is the avidya potency and vidya potency. Okay, so avidya potency is completely keeps us in a bodily platform, and it's so the allurement for sense gratification. But the vidya potency of Mahamaya brings impersonal aspect or understanding of the soul. That's all. Not till Krishna. Okay, not to the Supreme Lord, but some other paths, right? Impersonal aspect of the Lord. If though they are a little advanced, they have desire to, approach or desire to perform or achieve some kind of higher consciousness, God consciousness. So that is what, if you see that all other paths, there are so many so-called transcendentalists, they're not at a purely bodily platform, but they are little advanced them, but they're not at the pure bhakti stage. They are doing so many things, so many paths. They're doing, for example, some kind of different activities, some kind. Sometimes you do that yoga, they do different kind of yoga or some kind of meditation. So for them, the Mahamaya's vidya potency will act on them, and they, for that they'll bring some closer, but not the pure bhakti. But that is the Mahamaya, and Yogamaya potency is the spiritual potency. So that Yogamaya potency, what it does, it has also two part. Yogamaya also does the bewilderment, but it's not in a negative way. It's a spiritual bewilderment, like we see that gopis in Vrindavan were not able to identify Krishna as the Supreme Personality Godhead. Yashoda, Mother Yashoda, was not able to understand Krishna's potency. So that's called Yogamaya potency, which bewilders, which covers the devotees to reveal or to understand. That is the, and other part of the Yogamaya which acts on the devotee, those who are surrendered, the souls which they surrendered, completely surrendered. Yogamaya potency act on them to come closer to the Krishna, so develop the pure bhakti. Ye bhaktya mam abhijananti yeban yaschasmi tattvataha. So that's what, and helps to understand, develop the pure love. That. So this is the two potency, and that's the two different energy of the Lord. So that's some difference between them, and very important things we need to understand. So now that's the energies we discussed very detailed. Now this verse, today's verse 35, Lord is answering Brahmaji's third question, that was, what are your activities in relation to the material and spiritual energy? So what is your relations, your activities, this thing. So Lord says, Yatha Mahanti Bhutani. Okay. So just as the elements enter into all beings and also remain separate, I enter into all being and remain separate when I perform my pastimes. So you have, you have an external energy, you have an internal potency. So how does it act, or how what is your relations with them? So is material potency or material energy acts on you? So that's what Lord is clarifying here. I enter into all being and remain separate them when I perform. So in past time related to the material world, I remain detached. In past time related to devotee, I am attached. This is what he's saying in this verse. Pravishtani tatha tesu na teswaham. So Krishna is saying that I am aloof from this energy. There is although they are my energy, that's a material, the separate energy or external Bahiranga Shakti is my energy, but I am not affected by them, and I am situated in everyone's with I am all pervading, right? Krishna Lord, like as a Paramatma, Krishna Lord situated in everyone's heart, in fact in every atom. But still he is separated from them, and he stays at the Golaka Vrindavan also. So that's what he's saying. I enter into all beings and remain separate. And when I perform my pastimes in the material world, I remain detached from everything. But when I perform my pastimes with the devotees, I'm attached to them. So that means the Lord, having described Maya, Yoga Maya and Mahamaya in the previous verse, now he describes how he performs pastimes in material and spiritual world, which are subject to Maya and Yoga Maya respectively. Right? When you perform them, how it is your relations with them? That is the question, right? How do you deal with them? So of course there are two energies, we understand that, and how you deal with them, what is your relationship with them? So that's why Lord is explaining that I even though this is my relation with them, I'm totally separate from the external energy, and even though I'm situated in everyone's heart, in every atom, but I am detached. So when I perform a pastime in relation to the material world, I am detached. When I perform a pastime in relation with the devotees, I am attached. So an example here, elements such as, like, we know the gross elements, right? That is the root of everything. That if you see the creation process, the first thing are created, things are created are five gross elements, right? Fire, air, ether, water, earth, right? These are five: earth, fire, air, ether, water. So they exist separately, and at the same time they they consist, or they can make different elements or different products, right? Even our body is made of the five gross elements, and any object we take that made of five elements, right? And they separate separately. Similarly, Krishna is saying that just as the element such as ether enter into living beings, all the living, either it's a devata, man, animals, since they are acquired by the jiva, at the same time do not enter into them, means ether can stay separately, means it's, so in other words, it's saying that when something is entered into, if you see that many things, one thing can product, like for example, when I say I went to temple, so when I say that when I go to temple, then I can stay at the temple only, I cannot stay at home, right? I'm not a splitting personality, right? I cannot expand myself like Krishna, who expanded himself many times. But here Krishna is saying that even though I'm situated in everyone's heart, or in every atom, but still I myself stay in the spiritual world, or I can expand into many form and I can stay in every Vaikuntha planet separate from that. So this correlates, what that verse, 9.5 and 9.6 of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna very clearly mentioned in that two verses. So which is like this. 9.4 is say that Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat abhyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani na cheham tvesu avastita. So here also, see the similar verse, right? Yes, matstani sarva bhutani na chaham tesu avastita. Here also you say that tatha tesu na teswaham. So both are similar. So Krishna says that Maya tatam idam sarvam, Jagat abhyakta murtina. So that is abhyakta means Krishna saying that I am like entire this universe, Maya tatam idam sarvam, the entire universe is pervaded by me. And how? Jagat, sarvam jagat, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat means this entire universe is pervaded by me. That means he's saying that he's present in everywhere. And how he's present in the everywhere, that's what he said, abhyakta murtina, means in his unmanifested form. Right? That is what very important. Means it's like Krishna saying that Krishna's energies, it's not that Krishna himself is situated, Krishna's external energies, all his energies. So matstani sarva bhutani, all beings are me, but I am not in them. Nachaham te savasita. Right? That means he said that everything is within them, but he is not, because he is not there means he himself is not there, there within everyone. Krishna himself is not there, but his energies are there. So similarly, in the next verse, if you see, it's immediately he clarifies in Bhagavad Gita 9.5. Nachamasthani sarva bhutani pashyame yogam yaisvaryam bhuta brinna nacha bhutasto mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. So he say that, and yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. But here Krishna is showing up himself, his personal form. Although everything rests, but he himself does it. So that Nachamasthani sarvabhutani. Pashyame yogam aisvaryam. That is my yoga. That is my understand my Aishwarya means inconceivable mystic power. My instinct. So that is what here also in the Bhagavatam verse, Lord is trying to say, how he's not situated in everyone by himself, but his energy. So Prabhupada, so the answer is that, so question was, Brahma's question was, what is your relations with this material and spiritual energy? So simple thing is saying that I am separated from my material energy, but I am attached to my spiritual energy. Like when I, what do you call it? When I act with, when anyone or anything is not related to me, then my Mahamaya, my separate energy work. But if devotees who always surrender to me, and for them I personally act. That's what say. let's see some of the points. Yeah, very important point. And Prabhupada say, because of this, and what happens when Krishna says, I am situated in every abhyakta murtina, that means my unmanifested, my impersonal form. So that's where this impersonalists pick up. They say that because Krishna says, the Lord says, abhyakta murtina, my unmanifested form, means the Lord is impersonal. That's what they conclude. Because Lord says, I am situated everywhere. Maya tatam idam sarvam. No? Jagat abhyakta murtina, means I am situated in my unmanifested form in every atoms or everywhere. So that's why the impersonalists conclude that, see, everything, Lord is there. Actually, Lord is impersonal only, abhyakta murtina. That's why he's present everywhere. That's why everything is Lord only. Even I am God, you are God. This laptop is God, because that's what they say. Because, in one sense, if you understand, the statement correct, but it's it's not complete correct statement. And why I should understand this, that's why I started today's discussion about the Mahamaya's second potency, the Vidya potency, which is this positive but not complete. So that because of that Vidya, these impersonalists step forward and they surrender to the abhyakta murtina, the unmanifested form of the Lord. And because again, that is because of the Mahamaya only, because Mahamaya is not always trying to separate from the personal form of Krishna. Here also, if you see, the impersonalist Mahamaya creates their faith, brings their faith in such a way that they are completely surrendered onto the impersonal aspect of the Lord. They cannot come to the personal form of the Lord, and they do not believe also. And why they are not able to reach to the personal form? Because of Mahamaya. Mahamaya is still trying to keep them. Okay, but we know that the real understanding or complete understanding is the Bhagwan realization, right? So Prabhupada, quotes Brahma Samhita. That's what the Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibha Prapita Vish, right? That verse. I worship the personality of God and Govinda, who by expansion of his internal potency of transcendental existence, knowledge and bliss, enjoys in his own and expanded form. Simultaneously, he enters into every atom of the creation, right? So he is situated separately, and the next, another verse, I worship the personality of Godhead Govinda, who by one of his plenary portion enters into the existence of every universe and every particle of the atoms, and thus unlimitedly manifest his infinitive energy all over the material. So then Prabhupada talks about impersonalist, how they so the vision of the real mystery of the spiritual knowledge, as stated by the Lord in the beginning, Sarahasyam Tadangam Cha, the mystery is this mystery is the most confidential part of the knowledge of the Supreme, and it is impossible for the mental speculator to discover by dint of intellectual gymnastics. The mystery can be revealed through the process recommended by Brahmaji in the Brahma Samhita, that is Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yam Syama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupam Govindam. That is the original form, right? Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochena. That their eyes smeared with the ointment of love of Godhead, always observe within their heart. That is the bhaktas, right? Santa Sadaiva Hridayesu Vilayanti. Vilokayanti. And Yam Sama Sundaram Achintya Guna Swarupa. Syama Sundaram. Govinda. Syama Sundaram with all transcendental quality. That is. Therefore, although he is present in every atom, the Supreme Personality Godhead may not be visible to the dry speculator. So this is what talking. Then finally, Prabhupada concludes that the all kinds of perfection attained by the process of knowledge, yoga, perfection is devotional service is the highest of all and the most mysterious also, even more mysterious than the 8 kinds of mystic perfection attained by the process of yoga. Then he said that that's why Krishna concludes in Bhagavad Gita 8.18 chapter, right? Before he concludes, he said that Sarvam Guhyatamam Guhya Sunume Paramam Bacha. Now I hear my Param Bacha. Param Bacha means my highest Param means a supreme advice. You know, I have till now I spoke so many things, you know, I covered everything in and out, in and out, in and out. All the yogas, everything. I have instructed you many things, but now this is my Param Bacha, my supreme advice. That is, what is the supreme advice? Advika? 18.66. Sarva Dharman Parityajya. That verse, right? So just hear from me again about the most confidential parts of the instruction in Bhagavad Gita. The same was confirmed in Brahmaji Narada. Narada also said, Idam Bhagavatma Nama. So this knowledge is very transcendental. So he asked Naradi to propagate this knowledge to everyone. So I'm giving you this knowledge. So your responsibility is to propagate this knowledge to everywhere. So that's the knowledge. So basically, you know, to conclude today's discussion, so Brahmaji's third question was, what are Lord's activities in relation with material and spiritual energy? And Lord answered that the material, these energies are separated. So he said that just as the elements enter into all beings and also remain separate, I enter all beings and remain separate when I perform my pastimes. In pastime related to the material world, I remain detached. In pastimes related to devotee, I am attached. So that is my relation. You know, when anything I perform related to material world, so I am detached. Anything I perform related to the devotees, I am attached. So that is my relation with Mahamaya and Yogamaya. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Any questions or comment?
It's a beautiful verse, Prabhuji. Nice sloka. So much meaning to it.
Yes.
It's a little complicated also. He says he's there in every element, right? That's created.
Yeah. Even in material, but he's detached.
Even in material, that's the part.
Yes, that's what I was
difficult to comprehend.
So that is what we need to understand. When he say he's situated, he's not himself situated. Abhyakta mukta means he's an unmanifested form. Yeah.
But what does that mean, the unmanifested form?
Unmanifested form means, so you can think that is Krishna's energy, you know, not Krishna himself.
Right. Separated energy.
Separated.
Yeah.
Bhinna prakriti. He is separated energy, right? Sometimes the, you know, what do you call it? Energy and energetics, you know, energy is the source. Energy is the source is energetic, right? And whatever we come, that is energy. So although both similar, like if one is not there, source is not there, then we cannot get that, but still they're separated, right? In that way we can understand. Fire and spark. Fire is the source, the sparks are emanated from the fire, but still they're separated, something like that. So that's why Krishna said, Sunume, what is that? 9.5. Pashyame yogam aishwaryam. This is my mystic quality, inconceivable mystic power. That's what, I stay somewhere, but I'm not affected. I'm situated in every atom, but I'm not situated myself. So I am not situated means I myself not there. My separated energies is there in everyone. So like that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
There is this line on page number 497 in the last paragraph. Here it is saying that the Lord can award anyone and everyone liberation from the bondage of material existence, yet he rarely awards the privilege of love of Godhead, as confirmed by Narada. So yeah, I was just trying to reflect on that line, that he can award liberation, but he cannot easily give love of Godhead.
So so this purport only you're talking, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So
this is
so it is noted here that mystery of Bhakti Yoga was disclosed to Brahmaji by the Lord himself. Brahmaji explained the same mystery to Narada, and Narada explained it to Vyasa. So that one, or
below that.
So it is
the Lord can award. The paragraph begins with, it's the last paragraph on page.
Okay, actually in the online
you cannot see the page number.
The page
it's
number.
After the verses, Prabhuji, after the Brahma Samhita verse 5.38, way below that. The meaning is
the Lord can award anyone. Okay, this one you're talking, right?
Yes.
The Lord can award anyone and everyone liberation, mukti from the bondage of material existence, yet he rarely awards the privilege or love of God, as confirmed by Narada. So what does that mean? See, liberation means what kind of liberation? There are many liberation, right? One of the liberation is merging with the Brahman, right? So that is also one kind of liberation. So Lord can award anyone and everyone liberation from the bondage of material existence. Means bondage of material existence means it's a liberation of Brahman realization. That is also one kind of liberation. But to get the liberation of going back to the spiritual world, right? That is rarely awards the love of God. The love of God is something very rare. Only bhakta, unless until we perform bhakti, right? One cannot get that. So in other words, we have other paths, right? The impersonal path, yoga path, those are all their ultimate, they'll get a mukti only, but not the absolute mukti.
But Prabhuji, liberation is awarded even to demons, right?
Yeah, that's also true. But what kind of liberation they get, that's what we need to understand. Yes.
And in this case, Prabhuji, then only the Yog Maya Shakti is working, right? When the love of God is awarded, that means only
that's
pure...
Yoga Maya. Mahamaya can, that's what, in other words, we can think of that. Mahamaya, that impersonal realization, that's also Mahamaya, only the Vidya parts of Mahamaya is doing, they're into it. So, but that's not a pure liberation. Okay. See, the liberation is it's like what you call lowest desire in terms of bhakti, Bhakti, the top is the developing that love, It's very difficult, Krishna. That's why Krishna doesn't give that mercy, that love to everyone, and because why? Krishna can be conquered with that love only. Krishna, we cannot defeat Krishna by anything. Even though we are the strongest power, we have a strongest power in the entire universe, still we cannot defeat Krishna. Krishna can be easily defeated by that love, And that's called Ladini Shakti, Sakti, Ladini Shakti. That has, Radharani has that Shakti. That's why Radharani, I mean, Krishna is always, what do you call, defeatable by Radharani. And how can we develop that Ladini Shakti? When we develop that pure love, if you show that love, unflinching love, and we can develop that Shakti. And that's why Krishna is little hesitant to give in everyone unless until we reach to the stage. So that's why it can, that getting that privilege is very rare. But if you show that unflinching that condition, pure devotional service, then yes, we'll develop it. But mukti is, that's very anything, possible. Even if, right, if you see that sometimes out of the 5 mukti, right, Sahyuja, Samipya, like that, even if you go to the spiritual world, we may not have that pure love towards Krishna. Very important point, right? Because let's say we got the same opulence, like same bodily feature like Krishna. It's something you can think about that. You will, let's say president is there, okay? President, you get some job, where you will work in the White House, and what is your White House job is, let's say, cleaning some office rooms, but president's room is totally different. It's no one accessible. You may enter into the White House, but you do not have any accessible to talk to president, meet with the president, or you do not have any connection. You just go into the White House and do. I mean, someone say, "Oh, you are working in the White House," then you might have. Then you say, "No, I've been working in White House since 20 years, but I never met with president." So that's kind of, see, even though you some kind of liberation, you go to the spiritual world, there is no exchange of the love with Krishna, personal exchange. So that pure devotees only get that personal exchange with Krishna. That's that kind of love it's talking about here.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Any other question? Okay, thank you. If other question or comment, then we can stop here. Let's offer our obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Prashindubhayescha Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, everyone.